Again, it's me, the guy with the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing another review. Today I'm going to review the Bandai 2001 GMK Mothra. This is the out of frame. There we go. Now she's in frame. There we go. Now before we get on to the figure, which is out of focus, okay, there we go. So now before we get on to the figure, let's take a look at the tags. So on the front, we got a picture of Mothra there, just flying there, and we got a movie mustache. I don't know what the text up there in brownish gray rusty looking font says Movie Monster Series Mothra 2002, even though this is 2001. Sorry about that. Yeah, and that I believe that just says Movie Monster Series. I speak very, very bad Japanese. And you can see GMK's hand right there. Opening up, we got Movie Monster Series again, contact and safety information. We got all the stuff there, 1.5 something, I think that's like a 75-meter wingspan, and 1.5, I don't know, and there's GMK Godzilla's jaw poking out of the side right there, and on the back, we got a nice menacing picture of GMK Godzilla, and a shiny sticker. Pac-Man is sad because he's chewing on another pellet thingy. And yeah, so that's that. Now on to the detail. We'll start with the wings. Now, unlike other Mothras, the wings on both sides are painted, and it's not just the cheap way out where it's translucent wings with one side painted. No, both sides of the wings are painted fully, which that is a really nice thing. These GMK figures are some of Bandai's, I would say, some of their best standard figures. Like, not their absolute best, but some of their best just standard figures, but you can see the detail is really nice. Now, some people say she is the least detailed of the GMK figures, but I would not necessarily agree with that. I don't have Ghidorah, so I can't fully tell, but she is a very well-detailed figure. And the paint on the wings is very nice, colorful, and impressive. We got the purple, the yellow, the red, the orange, weird-looking eyeball thingies. And the fur is very nicely sculpted as well, as you can see. It just looks so realistic and fuzzy. And there's brown sprays on that. The legs are nothing to write home about. They're just very smooth. Just smooth little legs. The back two, which are meant to stand her, are on the other way for some reason. So that's kind of weird that they put them on backwards. And if you swap them out to the opposite socket, they look really weird and disconnected. Yeah, the front ones are glue sealed, and I think this is the only GMK figure that has a glue seal, and that is for the legs, and there's actually a reason for that. As you can see, there's a brown spray in the middle there, underside. There's the copy right there, kind of in a stinger shooting pose. And then on the back for the Mothra ass, I guess. I don't really know what you would call this part on it. I think it's like the thorax or something. Thorax? I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little hard to tell, but the fur is very nicely sculpted over these smooth parts. It looks like they're overlapping over one another. Bandai did a really nice job with this figure. And the head sculpt, too, is very nice. As you can see, you got the purple eyes. The antennas are alright. They're Bandai standards, but they could probably have been a little bit better. But yeah, she is a very nice figure. So that's detail. Now for articulation, her head can rotate 360, although it is pretty stiff, so I would advise against it. Legs move in and out, there's really no purpose to it unless you want to adjust her standing position, which she is meant to stand like this for some reason, although you can kind of get her flying. Wings, they are done kind of like some other figures where they're kind of loosely attached into the sockets. They can kind of flap a little bit. As you can see, they're kind of flapping, and you can feel them flapping, but they're not really meant to. Very few figures have it in a way where it really feels like they're flapping. But yeah, and obviously the legs, the front four legs are glue sealed in, but those could not move if you broke the glue seal. So sizing, it's, okay, now here's the GMK Godzilla. As you can see, we gotta kind of pan up there, which this is about accurate. Godzilla's kind of undersized compared to the rest of Bandai's GMK monsters. I think that was just done for cost reasons, because they couldn't make Godzilla too big, and they couldn't make the Guardian monsters too small, or else that wouldn't warrant the price of an 8-inch figure. But I mean, it works, and you can Let me just, because the way Mothra's legs are done, you can get her gripping onto Godzilla's back like in the movie. Very well, actually. I used to have her displayed like that until it started warping her legs. Now they're slightly off-center. And even though these two were never on screen together, he is Baragon. And yeah, this works. And sadly, no GMK Ghidorah. But anyways, here's a Mothra larva, because there's no GMK Mothra larva. Just Mothra larva. And here's a comparison with another Mothra, the 1992 Mothra. This figure is way bigger than this, but yeah, there goes just a Mothra comparison there. And now, here we have a standard figure, SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1995 Rebirth version. This is in no way accurate, but this is just to show you what this figure looks like next to, no, not what this figure, but what this figure looks like next to a somewhat common Monster Arts figure that a lot of people have by now. And here's SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2014, because oh my god, 2014! And yeah, I mean, this is obviously just like Godzilla 1995, way too out of scale, but this is just to show you what GMK Mothra looks like next to a figure that pretty much everyone in the universe and their great-grandparents have by now. So yeah, now that part's out of the way, now on to the final part of the review, history of the figure and pricing. This figure was originally released in 2001 alongside all the other GMK figures as what you're looking at here, and then in the movie Monster series, obviously that's when this came out, and then reissued again that very same year as a theater exclusive, which the theater exclusive was obviously just this figure, but in translucent purple with glitter in the vinyl, which is kind of underwhelming, honestly. I would prefer something a little more interesting. But yeah, that was the theater exclusive GMKs. They're very underwhelming figures, honestly. Just try to get the painted ones. Don't bother with theater exclusives. But anyways, and nowadays this figure can range, she's the cheapest of all the GMKs, honestly. Not very many people want her. So you can get her for pretty good prices. I've seen them vary, you know, some people can. Obviously, one thing you do want to look out for on this figure is yellowing, because as you can see, mine is nice and pure white. But being to 2 G-Fests, I've seen a lot of these figures that have gone horribly, horribly yellow. So be on the lookout for yellowing when you're looking for really any Mothra figure. So yeah, and I paid about $35 for this. I know it kind of sounds like a lot, but I got a free figure with it. It was a Bandai X Asian that was at G-Fest 21. So yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. I wasn't expecting to get that figure for free, or really at all, because I didn't even want that figure, but I have it anyways. And yeah, so that's really kind of it. Now, oh, theater exclusive, I forgot about that. And so the price for this figure nowadays is, like I said, can range from like 20 to 40, sometimes even up to $50, but that's kind of a ripoff. So if you ever see this for that price, do not go for it. Obviously, you do want to look out for yellowing as well, and warpage issues, because as you can see, her wings do look a little wonky. Believe me, when I got this figure, it was horrible. Like, this wing was bent up like that, and like the legs were all off-center, and yeah, it was awful. Even then, hair drying it didn't work out that well. As you can see, this part is still kind of bent. So warpage issues because of how soft vinyl she is also something you need to look out for. And the theater exclusive is usually around, well, I think the highest I've seen that go for is about $30 tagged, so you can find the theater exclusive for really cheap. All theater exclusive GMK Godzilla figures are actually very, very, very cheap figures, because they're honestly, I'm pretty sure there's more theater exclusive GMK figures than there are actual painted ones. So yeah, and you can get them very cheap, except King Ghidorah. That's the only theater exclusive that isn't super expensive. So yeah, as for a rating for this figure, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a good figure, you know. It's a very well detailed Mothra, probably one of the best Bandai Mothras there is, but it's nothing really that special, and it is one of the lesser detailed GMK figures. But either way, 8.5 out of 10. As I always say, Shamama Jamo means I accidentally ate the whole thing.